Good evening. Chuck, Mark, see y'all sitting out there waiting. Thanks for popping in here real quick. This was kind of spur of the moment. Hopefully McMurray will drift along here in a little while and check us out. I think he was working out at the gym. You know, them policemen's they got to get their workout when they can. Since he works mostly nights, that's when he's awake. So when he's got a day off, it's usually a nighttime off. So picked up a few games here. Just arrived today, as a matter of fact. And I thought maybe I'd just show a couple of them. It's not anything new. Well, I don't know. One of them's fairly new, and one of them has been around for a while, but it's a reprint. And there you go. Clip That Death Valley. Great. I think that's the best GBA CW game to start in on. So if that's what we're talking about. John, how you doing? So I'm going to show a couple of what I picked up. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll show you, then we'll talk about them. So let's just get right after this real quick, and I'm going to try to get by 8:30 my time or 9:30 my time. Hopefully McMurray will be along. All right, so let me switch my camera here. I'm not very good at this unboxing stuff. All right, so I don't own any Worthington games. I had one that was sent to me, and I passed it on to McMurray. He played it, and I think he took it out back and filled it with shotgun slugs. So I decided after watching old Todd Camp, how you doing, brother? Playing a couple of games, it kind of inspired me to go get some. This is not one of them, but you know me, I love ACW. So I picked up Antietam and Shiloh, and I would have picked up 7 Days, but when I ordered these, they didn't have any of those in stock. Now I understand they got them in stock. So I picked up, and I'll show these here in just a second. I picked up Antietam and I picked up Shiloh, and I also picked up the series that Todd's playing right now, the Band of Brothers stuff. Now, this is the old breed, the Pacific box. Let me tell you something. This thing is heavy. Now, I've already knocked the counters out of a couple of them out there, and these things, they're huge. The matte hexes are huge, and the counters are nice. I love the counters in Worthington games because they got like a textured feel across top of them. So when you grab them, they're much easier to pick up. But we'll bust this open in a second. Now, I wanted to talk about these because right now, and I'm going to bring it up here. Let me change my camera. Let's see. Let's do this here. Let's go over here, and let's check out this. I think it's this one. All right. Miniature Market. Now, I imagine I can do this. So look at the retail of these games from Worthington. $80. Miniature Market, $56. All right. Battle Pack 1, $50, $35. All right. Texas Arrows, $45, $31, $32. Ghost Panzer, $80, $56. They're all like that. And the Civil War ones, I don't think they have one here on the first page that I'm aware of, but they're also reduced. So if you got a hankering to pick up any Worthington games right now, I'm telling you, do it right now while this stuff is chopped. A really big, and plus I think if you subscribe to them, you can get another 5%. I'm not sure, but so Miniature Market, and I ordered mine Tuesday, maybe, or Wednesday, maybe even Wednesday, but they showed up here today on Friday. So, all right, so let's get back to unboxing this stuff. All right, so let's take a look inside Antietam. So as y'all know, I live in the Eastern Panhandle, West Virginia. Antietam's 15 minutes away from me, and it's funny. It's 15 minutes away. Gettysburg's about an hour and 5 minutes. And I go to Gettysburg twice a year. And I hardly ever, I can't even remember the last time I've been to Sharpsburg to Antietam. So, so this is Worthington Games. And this one is published in 2022. Yeah. So it's not even really a year old yet. All right. But this box is heavy too. And it's because of the way they make their games. And I'm going to tell you right now, my first experience with these this is quality stuff that they have made. So let's get the box lid off this puppy. A couple of 10-sided dice. I think the best dice in the gaming world. All right. Confederate Chain of Command. Oh, great. Nice little layout sheet, if I can get it open. Nice little layout sheet for the Confederate Chain of Command. And they got it broken down. Of course, it was a left wing and a right wing with Jackson and Longstreet. It would be following, I guess, Chancellorsville once he lost Jackson, where Lee would decide to break the army up into 3 corps. And of course, that was probably the best strength in the most motivated army he had at the time was after Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville. So, and then of course on the reverse side, you got Little Mac in his layout. A lot of talk about Little Mac at Antietam and not not being aggressive enough. But you know what? He probably could have destroyed the Army of Northern Virginia, but he did drive Lee out of Maryland. And of course, Antietam was not supposed to happen. It's not what old Bobby Lee wanted. And well, I'll show you all later. Get back on my StreamYard here in case Andrew pops in. All right. Brigades. Okay, so they're called the Civil War Brigade Battle Series, which I'm assuming so they don't mix it up with MMP Civil War Brigade Series. So I'm going to get this out of the way here. This will be a little difficult. Yeah, it's going to be a little shiny. Sorry, guys, but I'll try to canter the stuff the best I can on here. Unfortunately, I got my light right here above me, and I need to move it behind my camera. Can't do that right now. I have to move the camera forward. But you're looking at about, what, 7, 8 pages of rules to play this thing? I mean, come on. We talk about SCS 8, Eric's Table Napoleonic Battles. Peter, how you doing, buddy? We talk about SCS having 10 pages of rules. Well, guess what? This one has 8. And I never know what these darn strength counters people call. They got a name for them. God darn, I got to fix that. They got a name for these strength counters. So I don't know what they call them, but they got some funny looking name for them. You know what they are? Let me know in the chat what they're called. I never do know what they are. But 8 pages of rules. And I think this game plays pretty simple. I don't think it's anything that would stress anybody's brain trying to read. So I figure I'll read these rules in one night and I'll be playing one of the 2 games, Antietam or Shiloh. So, I mean, come on, guys. 8 pages of rules. Not even 8. 7 and 5/6 or whatever you want to call it. Peter Schiff, how you doing, buddy? Dev, how you been, brother? I've been watching your little gate making video or pictures you put up there for your. I guess that's your dad's place. All right, the playbook for Antietam. Let's see. It says scenarios. Let's see what it's got in it. Oh, look at that. You can't. Come on, look at that layout for your scenarios. Put your counters right down there. So what do they got here? They got the morning attack. All right, that'll come up out of the cornfield. That'll be Hooker and his boys. And then you got Bloody Lane, which will be where they got that monument sits at the Bloody Lane up there where you can look down towards the creek and look out. Well, you can look out across the whole field from there. So, and it's not as deep as it was back then, but still you can tell the sunken road there. And scenario 3, Burnside's Bridge, which will be the lower bridge. And it's funny because it seems like recently I figured out or been reading a lot where in reality, Burnside accomplished the most for the Army of the Potomac at Antietam because he did cross that bridge and he was pushing, but there was nothing to support him. And then, of course, A.P. Hill shows up with the light division, just smacks him in the face. And then you got the Battle of Antietam, the full battle. All right. So, and there are 7 pages and charts on the back. What do we got here? Movement, morale, fire range. Okay. So with your multipliers and then your combat results table. Can it get any easier than that? Rich, how you doing, brother? I hope you got an email today just about an hour or 2 ago from me or from USPS. Box going out in the morning. So it takes care of that. And then, of course, it looks like they've got, I got to be careful. I will say that these counters fall out of these things. So, all right, 2 separate player aids for both players. Terrain chart on the, are these fold outs? No. Terrain chart on one side and the same chart you just saw on the back of the rule book on that. So I'm going to assume with the combat results, I've watched some people play these and like I said, it looked fairly simple. So I'm assuming this is going to be in strengths of what's attacking because that's definitely not an odds chart. And then you've got terrain bonuses for defense, the movement cost to get through these things, and then whether it blocks line of sight or not. Are any of you out there people that have problems with determining line of sight and some of the like GBACW and stuff like that? Because I'm going to tell you, it's not really as hard as it's made out to be. You just got to have the ability to have a 3D picture in your head. All right, let's get these counter sheets out. And I'm going to be cautious with these because, like I say, these counters, they just fall off these things, which is great. You just got to be careful when you open them up. So here's these strength counters. And like I say, these things, you tap these things, but I'm going to try not to, and they just fall off the tree. All right, so we got strength markers, more strength markers, and I haven't figured out why yet, but I'm wondering if this has any, maybe to make eyesight easier to find your counters, or if the blue, the gold, and the black represent a state of morale or something. Okay, so I don't know that yet. I haven't figured it out. Like I said, I haven't read the rules. Well, I want to read too many rules to find it. All right, Rich, I want to know what you bought today. All right, so artillery fired, dismounted for your cavalry units, and on the back side, it's just the same thing. So it's not it looks like, with 4 or 5 counter sheets that you're overwhelmed with counters, but they're not. Look how big they are. Matter of fact, I want to find out. Let's take a look. So these are 3/4 inch counters. All right. So for all of us that are blind as bats, we don't have to put on magnifying glasses to look at these things. All right. So we got 2 miscellaneous, 2 informational counter sheets. And then here is the Army of the Potomac. And of course, they're going to be broken down by corps, which for the longest time, like if you take Shiloh, the Union Army in Shiloh, they were broken down by divisions instead of corps. And then somewhere along the line, they reconfigured too. Everybody knows that McClellan was a genius at preparing an army, organizing an army, supplying an army, training an army. And most people are going to say that's where it ends. Okay. Very nice, Rich. Very nice. So there's the Union counter sheet. Oh, you got a lovely Worthington Games logo, and you got a Worthington old school War Games counter right there. Excuse me. Now we'll say this, and we'll see it in the other game over there, but a lot of blank counters, and you're going to get a lot of them on some of these sheets where you have just a butt ton of just blank white counters. That's fine. You never know. You might lose something, and you can make a counter out of it. All right, the Confederates, here they are. You notice there's not quite as many. And then you've got the out of command informational markers, casualty markers, turn marker. Both of them have them, casualty markers. I think a lot of this is a lot of the victory conditions are based off of that stuff. And this is, so it's a brigade level game. Come on, guys. How can you not have an easy time reading those? They even put the starting hexes, it looks like, on these counters right here. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that's what it is. And then they color code them by the brigade. Now, at Antietam, there was no necessary, okay, you had Lee, and then you had Jackson, and then you had Longstreet, the left and the right wings, okay? But because of the misbalance of force and having that internal line and being able to cover both sides of the battlefield, there was no discussion between Jackson and Longstreet, i.e. for Jackson to say, hey, can I borrow this brigade? There was none of that. It was grab them and go. If Jackson needed something from Longstreet, he just grabbed it and it shifted over there, or even Lee would have done it. So interesting fight, Antietam, and probably the last of its kind, or might even be the only one of its kind, where the forces like that, even though they were winged out differently under different commanders, either one could grab whatever they saw available to put into the line. And I imagine that would happen. I know that happened a lot at Gettysburg, plugging holes with whatever you could find. But these were major commands that these guys were able to just grab and throw into the fight without asking their boss, so to speak. All right, Matt. I'm not going to fold this thing all the way out because I'm doing this on a small table. And it's a one-piece hard-backed map. And we'll just fold out a little bit of it. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 patterns to it here. But look at this. I need a counter, don't I? Let me get a counter, because we got to see what that looks like. Let's put a cannon in here on this higher. Look at that. All right. Matte finish, but it feels kind of slick. So that means it's protected. All right. The counters, I love these counters because I know you're never going to see it, but they have kind of see the little texture in them? That is so nice because I can feel it when I grab the counter. But look at those hexes and the size of those counters. Come on, you guys can read that from the camera view right there. You can't do any better than that. All right, so this one is Antietam. This was in September of 1862. I guess most will call it a Union victory because it drove Lee out of his little Maryland campaign, which really wasn't long. And, and what was the real cause of them having to fight in Sharpsburg, like I say, which is 15 minutes from me, is, I tend to think because they were tied up at Harper's Ferry, and McClellan actually responded pretty good to Lee's invasion of Maryland. And I think he kind of forced Lee into a corner, and this was the best ground Lee fell upon. I mean, there was fighting in the gaps, which the Union was able to push through the gaps in the mountains. And this, fortunately, there was enough delay that Lee was able to do something. And, you leave a whole division at Harper's Ferry to clean up down there and keep watch of it. Fortunately, they were smart enough. They left A.P. Hill's division down there, the light division, who was notorious for marching long distances. And they did. They marched from Harper's Ferry. Now, if you've ever been out there, and like I said, I live in the area, by car, it's a blink of an eye from Harper's Ferry over to Sharpsburg. It's not, I mean, you go pop up to Shepherdstown and over you go. It's not that big a deal. But so even in foot distance in those days, it probably wasn't considered a long haul, but still walking it and then going straight into the fight. The minute you get there, no sit down and drink some water or cook some food, straight off the march right into the fight. And there's just countless times during the Civil War where this happened. All right, so that's Antietam from Worthington Games. Now I'm going to break out this monster box I got over here. So, and Wargrove's been playing these things. So I figured for the price, man, it was, you couldn't pass on that. It was well worth it. And I got a feeling a couple of y'all may end up going over there and looking here real soon. So I'm not a big Pacific guy, but because everything was so well priced and I had a couple dollars in a PayPal thing that I could use, I went ahead and grabbed what I could. I really would have loved to have had the 7 days battle. I thought that would have been nice for the Civil War, but didn't get it. So we went ahead and picked up the Old Breed South Pacific. Let's see. This one's designed by Dean Halley and Jim Crone, and I've heard Jim's name a lot. And this one is done in 2022 also. So, and like I say, come on, guys, for $56 over at Miniature Market right now, man, you can't top that. All right, let's get this out of the way. And let's pull out what we got here. All right, so scenario book right off the top. I don't know how loaded these are. I think the other ones have they're booklets, but not quite this fancy. So it looks like there are. Well, when's this thing start? This one starts. Well, there's training scenarios 1 and 2. And then it starts right now. The scenarios are numbered, I think, in accordance with the games. So scenario 49, and this thing, I have a TCS game like that. All right. And then it goes all the way up to 68. So you've got 20 scenarios in here. And this is a lot of this. I don't think there's any Commonwealth or British force scenario. It looks like American and Japan through the whole thing. I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any Brits in here that I'm aware of. No, this looks like all American versus Japanese. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Commonwealth fought them, but they probably fought them in places like Burma and stuff like that. I don't know, John. I'll probably dig through this later and see. I don't. Yeah, there's Guadalcanal right there. There's the 2 training scenarios are Guadalcanal. I don't know if I guess Matanical was that Guadalcanal, because this one here says Matanical River, Guadalcanal. So I guess that one is too. The first scenario looks like it is. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like they got great little explanations, historical outcomes. I mean, come on, that's simple. All right, special rules right there. But this thing's chock full of them. Chock full. So at least 20 scenarios right there in that book. All right. Get you out of the way. Throw it in here on top of these dice. How's the weather everybody's way? It's freaking raining and cold here tonight. Been like that all day. Rule book. All right. So this is version 2.2 of the rules. And this looks like what I don't know. Okay, so this is the series rules. So I guess this will be the core rules. And it's 36 pages. All right. Well, this is a tactical level game. So you kind of want details. All right. Nice big 2-column text. Nice pictures. Who's that remind you of, Devin? Like a lot like Lock and Load Tactical. Very nice, easy to read, laid out, big text stuff. Certain things highlighted with I love OCS is another one that does this, where they put the examples when you read a rule, and if you're confused, let's read the example. Man, that helps a ton. So I'm understanding from what everybody says about this with Todd doing his show and playing this stuff. The guys were saying this is you find them, you suppress them, and then you kill them. And suppressing is a big thing. So sunny and warm, nice break. So I'm ready to start playing golf. I don't know about you all. I was hoping to play this weekend, but that's not going to happen. All right, so nice rule book. It's a gloss, but it's not really super glossy, and 36 pages of the rule book. Now here comes the interesting part. Because I don't play these kind of games, look at these map boards. I don't even know if do these fold out? Well, yes, they do. So they're double-sided, okay? Would you think that's a jungle? Safe to say that that's a jungle? Looks like they got little trails through here. I don't see any huts or anything. Looks like they got some hills, a little bit of water. So this is like 2 map boards, all right? So they're all double-sided. Man, that's some serious jungle. And of course, I imagine if you're playing a big game, you put all these together. So there's 4, 5, 6 map boards. These massive hexes. Just great for us old dudes. John, you're near Belfast? You're over on the other side of the pond there, buddy? I appreciate you being here from over there. Yeah, I've been hearing, I got a girl that's training me from San Diego. She's in Escondido, I think. And she was telling me about the lowlands just getting washed with rain and the high ground just getting plummeted in snow. So what I said, that was 8 maps right there. All right, 8 maps in that. Now, here come the counters. Now, these are these big old things. Like I said, you got to be careful with these. So you got 1 counter. All right. There's Americans. Get the map out of the way here. I'm hoping McMurray will pop on here in a minute before I get done. All right. So 1, 2. All right. 1.5 of Americans. Look at this. Bulldozers. Landing craft. For all you naval dudes out there. LC. What's LCP stand for? I know what LCT and LST stand for. And these decoy counters, I've been watching Todd play this, and there's an interesting concept that I need to learn about. 3rd company hub, 2nd company hub. It's got a radio on it. Bunch of grunts, bunch of machine guns. LVTs. There we go. There's some Shermans up here. M4A1s. What else we got? Looks like we got some guns, anti-tank guns. And then the Japanese. I don't know what the red band for. Oh, maybe that's how you separate these things into like a unit or something. Maybe that's what those little slashes are for. Thank you, Camp. Landing craft person. That would make sense. So it looks like the Japanese have the same thing, the hubs. I don't know if that's just their communication hub or that's just representing sort of a commander. Machine guns. Looks like those guys are in pits. One thing I haven't seen in these that I haven't noticed yet was any sniper stuff. Like Squad Leader has this sniper rules. These old guns, they look like such old World War I type field guns. Hagos, T95 Hagos, T97 Chihas. And the only reason I know anything about those is because I play a lot of World of Tanks. So, all right, we got looks like an officer on that counter there with his sword out. So 1.5 Japanese. And then miscellaneous, bunkers, caves, barbed wire. I haven't figured out what these artillery things yet. I guess those go on the map when you fire a mission. So foxholes, concealed counters, more foxholes. Oh, see, look, they just fall right out. And this has concealed -2 on it. Well, the jungle doesn't make sense. I'm curious to find out how that rule functions. Like I said, I've been watching Wardrobe play, but I haven't really got a grasp at what it is. All right, now here's the other concept that is really, really cool. So your unit counters, you see how big those are. And then the informational counters, except for like the bunkers and stuff like that go on top. That's an awesome idea. And Todd was showing me this where you could drop these counters in the upper left corner of your units, and you can still see the unit stats on the counter. So op fire, smoke, move, suppressed. I don't know what that is yet. That's a sustained fire. I don't know if that's the rate or not. Don't know what that is. Unconfirmed kill, which I think you throw on there. You mark them with that, and then there's somewhere where you determine whether or not they actually killed the unit or not. Command point markers, a bunch of those. Fatigue markers. I don't remember seeing those in the other ones. The fatigue ambush marker, that would make sense. River. And then on the back, you get all these used ones. So when a unit does its actions and it's done, you drop one of these used markers on there. Like I'm just sort of second guessing that. I don't know if that's exactly what it means, but it seems to me like that's what it means. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counter sheets. All right. Now let's get you guys out of the way. What else we got in here? Oh yeah. All right. Again, this is interesting. So a player aid with specific functions, which is great. So you don't have to dig through the rule book. Okay. And then on the other side, your terrain charts. And this one has, well, actually, you know what? I have the expansion box that has charts like this on it. So I wonder if they just upped the rules and up what the terrain does. Doing different things. Infantry firepower versus gun, mortar, artillery, air, flame. Yeah, I know some of the games have the Flammenpanzers and flamethrower tanks in there. So that's nice looking stuff. What I did not see, unless I overlooked it, I didn't see the combat charts. Unless I just blew right by them. See if they're hidden down here somewhere. All right, now here's the tricky part of this. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe the combat charts are standard. These trays. Okay. All right. They're great for holding the counters, but they do not seal. All right. Now, what I have learned is that most of the games, let's see. So Old Breed, the first one, and Ghost Panzer, the boxes are so full that when you punch your counters, since you don't have to cut or clip anything, you just push them out, is you keep the counter sprues and you fill these things up, which it'll hold everything just fine. And then when you put everything back in the box and the box that goes down flush, it puts enough weight on this that you don't have to worry about this coming off. If you'd see me out there today with the Ghost Panzers, I was out there doing this with the box and turning it over and going back into the box, look, see if any of the counters spit out, and they don't. And if you get really desperate, get a rubber band, put around it, okay? I think it would kind of tear it up because these are flimsy. But it seems to me that this wouldn't have been hard for them to figure out how to lock it. So, but they don't lock. Just keep that in mind. But like I say, the 3 games that have them, there's enough material in the box that if you keep the counter sprues when you're done and you close the box on them, they will stay flush. So, and you know what? The artwork, you got to love the artwork on these boxes. I mean, you can't. That's good stuff right there. So, painter's tape. There you go. That's what I used to use on all my old SPI stuff, Chuck. So, well, I was hoping McMurray would pop along, but he has not gone on here yet. But I'm going to go back to the page real quick and let you all get one more look at that. So, like I say, look at these prices on the stuff they're doing. And not just those games, all right? Just the ones. There's Braveheart for $18. This War Without an Enemy, which is, I believe that's pretty new, $54. Next War Supplement, I'm imagining this is the new one. Next War Poland, almost $100 game for $65. Come on. That isn't this Levy and Mass a new series? And $53. Inferno is a new game, I believe. Okay. You can't beat some of the stuff. I wish I could find the Civil War ones. Let me see if I can. There we go. Oh, they got 11 Civil War games on here? Oh, I did not know this. Oh, Most Fearful Sacrifice for $100. U.S. Civil War, $56. Look, guys, you want a strategic Civil War game? There you go, right there. All right. Of course, that's Victory Games is U.S. Civil War is the granddaddy of that. Well, actually, War Between the States from SPI was, but this is sort of based similar to that Victory Games one. There you go. There's the one from Lock and Load, which Deb and them sent me a while back, the Atlanta campaign. This Chancellorsville one, if this is the one I think it is, it has the blind that you set up. Not my thing. Herman's game in magnificent style. I love this one. Herman was kind enough to send me that one right there. Actually, it's in another person's hands right now. I need to get that back. But this one, this one didn't do it for me. I see Rio Grande, War of 1865. There's Antietam. Oh, here we go. There's my buddy.
Hang on, my camera shifted to not
That's all right. Take your time, and I'll
There
just
we
do
go.
my thing while you're doing your thing.
To get back to Messenger to tell you to let me in, my camera got messed up. We're good.
All right. Look at this. GBACW. Come on, guys. $44, $45. All right, $67 for Death Valley. I think Death Valley is what? Is an $85 game, I think.
It should say it right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, $89. That's right. Yeah. And then Antietam is a $75 game. In the expansion, the Battles for the Shenandoah expansion, that's right. I had pre-order. I think I paid like $22 for it, but $35 down to $27. Come on. This is a good thing going on at Miniature Market right now. So, and Andrew, let me switch that out. That looked terrible.
Dog, I think I got fucked.
So
this is an unboxing.
We're live, okay. Right?
What?
We are live right now.
Yeah, sorry. So what we're unboxing today is Battle, the game of strategy.
All right, hold on a second. Let me flip some things over. So you actually timed that just right because I just finished what I was doing. So let me go. Andrew's got a couple. Old McMurray here, he's got a couple he's going to bust out real quick. So we timed that just right. Let me go ahead and put him in a solo. There we go. All right, brother, have at it.
So these are true, like, blind unboxings, right? First one, Battle. So it's the game of strategy it's an old Ukinto game from their album games series. Can you guys see this okay?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. So I got this used, so I just took a piece of painter's tape that was holding it shut off. How to store the album games. Place any unit counters or other small pieces in the Ziploc plastic bags. Any card decks or others should be around them. Put them into here.
Oh, this is old school. This is that Ukinto game, right?
Yeah.
And what's the date on this thing?
I don't know. It's number 307. It doesn't have a date on the back of it. I don't know. It's old. I mean, look at
it's old. Yeah.
The model on the front looks like he's out of A Clockwork Orange. So, 1981, right there.
Okay.
So I guess that's our board. We got some terrain.
Wow. That was novel for that time period.
Basic game army units: infantry, armor, artillery, headquarters. Huh. There's a terrain setup diagram for both sides. We got value charts. So those look like terrain charts, right? Because you got each of the different types and then the different sorts of movement values. So it says per here, place any units there, insert the large tab into the sleeve, place all flat articles such as rulebooks, charts, and games in one of the album sleeves. So let's get those out of there first. Because there's this thing in here that I saw that says Armies for Battle. So I don't know if this is clipped out of an old general or what, but this is a whole bunch of stuff that aren't in there. So I don't know what this is.
Is it like an addenda thing to that game or something?
Yeah, so it's got army composition. This looks like a DBA thing for you miniatures guys, because it's got a standard army composition and then what each of these things are. But it's got a bunch of extra unit types that aren't on here. So I don't know how that's going to work. But then it's got what each of these units are. So Aquilonia all the way through Zamora, Stygia. These seem like possibly some fictional ones, as well as places like Picts. We got Samaria, Hyrcania, Koth. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what that is. But yeah, so that's all that's in this side over here of the folder thing. There's some more in this side. Okay, so here we have a folded blank piece of construction paper. That's cool. Like I said, this is a true blind unboxing, folks. So here's more different units. So ancient value chart, pike and shot value, medieval value chart, Napoleonic, modern, and American Civil War. So yeah, that's part of why I grabbed the thing. A, 'cause it was $15, and B, because it says you can play basically any period with it, which is kind of cool.
Now, so what was those of you in the chat? Because I remember I cleaned up a couple games for my buddy that sells games. SPI had a game. Was it Strike One or First Strike where you could play all the different? I mean, just any era you want. It had a scenario for everything, but I can't remember the name. And it came in similar to those Yaquinto boxes. It was one of the original SPI fold-out boxes.
Okay. So here's the rule book, Jeff.
Oh, how many umpteen pages?
You're looking at it.
Front and back?
Yep.
Shoot, you'll be playing that in the next hour.
Battle, the game of strategy. This seems like, yeah, so read the basic rules. We got some optional rules in here. I don't think anybody really has any distinct feelings on optional rules.
Hey, there's your little cardboard thing. Go back one page. That little fold-out thing, is that it on the right side of the left page?
The screen. Should be used while setting up this game and should be folded when stored so it will stand by itself. So I don't know. Well, I'll have to read into that and figure that out. So apparently the blank piece of paper is supposed to be in here. So again, we have rules special for each of those historical periods. Here's some stuff for playing by mail. That's kind of cool.
Oh, that's so old school.
So that's cool. That's just kind of like a scenario book, whereas you have then a rule book here. And that feels like about everything that's in that side. Yep. So let's make sure that we get everything out of a foldable map before we get into other stuff. So we're going to lay that screen flat and folded like Yaquinto instructs us to store it.
That's right. The map is the box.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Correct. There's the map. Now, I'm hoping it says place any unit counters or other small pieces in the Ziploc bag and card decks and put them into here. I'm hoping that.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't. There might be something in here, but I'm not exactly. Okay, there's at least one Ziploc in here.
We're getting ready to panic.
Yeah, no shit, man.
Getting it out of you're unboxing that. I'm going to tell everybody our show coming up Thursday night. This Thursday coming, we've added somebody to the show. Kev from Big Board is going to be joining us. So to give us,
so get excited. I know I'm excited. Okay, so I do have the pieces. That being said, I'm 100% just putting the pieces in this big recessed area from now on.
Okay. Well, I like that. It was a good storage spot for them.
It is. And so we got, again, all of our different unit types. I'm trying to figure out if we've got... So we've certainly got more than just the infantry, armor, and motorized. Okay. So we got some cavalry, some other stuff. That should be artillery. Well, we can look at it right here. Mechanized infantry. Well, oh, great. It varies based on the period. So so this is cool. This is something that miniatures games need to take a clue from and not try and overcomplicate things. Some periods just don't have as much stuff. Right. So for Civil War, you have infantry or cavalry, artillery, and infantry. There you go. For Napoleonic, you've got light cavalry, infantry. Light infantry is one of these guys. Artillery, guards units. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how combat is resolved between all of these. I would assume that's in here.
Yeah, because there's not like there's any strength markers under those things, right?
No, not at all. The nice thing is combat. It carries out combat at the conclusion of the turn. The attacking player determines if combat occurs. Got to be in adjacent hexes. Completely voluntary, so no mandatory combats. So you can only attack once per turn. Like one unit can only attack one hex a turn. It makes sense.
Charles says skirmishers.
Yep, I'm sure they're in the ancients rules. Let's see here. Yeah, we got light infantry. Same difference. Yep. But so it's in the. It says the value.
On your chart right there, looks like about the 5th or 6th column over.
Move or points value?
Points value. Maybe that's it. Oh, I bet you're going to have a pencil and a piece of paper to score this.
Oh, so this isn't movement. That's like fight values.
See you, John. Thanks for showing up, brother.
Bye, John. Which John do we have?
John Halley. He's from over near Belfast.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. So this is their combat value, not their movement. That's kind of awesome. Huh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, duh. I should have been able to read that because it talks about your combat values underneath. So, like, you got combat value attacked by cavalry or light cavalry is better if you're archers or pike. That makes sense. Oh, yeah, because then there's a move value over there. I'm not that smart. Well, there you go. So that's pretty cool. And then it's even got the rules are short, but they're not just cutting big chunks out to make them short like you sometimes see.
Right.
They're just that simple because you still have examples of play and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you have to knock out the opponent's headquarters. And there you go. It seems like the basic game is designed mainly for the modern stuff.
Right.
The average playing time, somebody underlined this. The average playing time is 30 to 40 minutes.
Shoot, you'll play the whole scenario book by morning.
I mean, yeah, I gotta wake up in the morning, so I can't stay up that late. But I'm certainly gonna get it punched and clipped, and yeah, I'll probably play a couple turns. That's cool. That's a cool idea. It's a good storage solution. It's pretty ingenious, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Simple, sweet, charts right there on the board.
Yeah, and it's kind of awesome that they've got it set up such that you can play. So if you're not playing the modern game, you're going to have a different values chart.
Right.
But they have them. They're all printed on this sheet, but then also it's perforated, so you can tear it off, and each person will have their value chart to just sit right underneath.
Cool.
Yeah, the hexes are huge. The markers are huge. I grabbed it because it said you could play any era.
Right.
And that sounded pretty cool, just as maybe I can get somebody who is a miniatures gamer and thinks hex encounter games are too complicated to sit down and play this, or something vice versa, or somebody who plays, like Euro board games can sit down and play this. And yeah, I'm always looking for those kind of like inroads, right? Those gateway drugs of gaming. I do that with miniatures, and I've got a number of board games that are like that I really like, but it's still a little tough sometimes to convince somebody to go out on a limb and try. Like, you could play Victory at Sea in a few hours without any trouble. You could play Blitzkrieg. Well, Blitzkrieg might take a couple hours, but you get my point. There's games out there you can play in a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you're already a gamer and you like hex and counter gaming, isn't a hard sell. But it could be a hard sell for somebody who doesn't play board games or something like that. It's a half hour, drop it on the table and rock out.
Yeah, Jeff, it had show that the terrain overlay counter.
Oh, the little.
Yeah, it's not much. It's
but
it's got a few of them on there.
But this is your game board.
Yeah,
that's not bad because there's already rivers on here.
Right.
Then there's a bridge here and a bridge there, so it's mirrored, and you've got equal pieces of terrain. You have 4 hills. 2 woods and 2 towns, and each of those pairs of hills is the same. So if you wanted to do it in a tournament style, you could absolutely do that and just have a mirror image,
right?
On your table.
This would have been a definitely good starter game.
Oh, it'd be an absolutely fantastic starting game, 100%.
But now you got one that's a little bit bigger than this too. Now, don't you? There, Tactics 2, Rich. That would be a good one for McMurray since he liked Blitzkrieg.
Fair, yeah. Yeah.
All right, what's this other game you got? That's a good looking game for a starter type.
So this wasn't necessarily a game that I like set out. I need to buy this thing.
Right.
Right. This is a game that was on the used shelf at my local gaming store for probably a few months until one day I just said, okay, I'm just going to grab it. It's $15. Every time I'm in there and try and buy something, because keeping local gaming stores afloat can be tough.
Right.
And so I said, okay, I'll get $15. Granted, they probably only got like $3 out of that because it's a used thing, so it's probably on consignment. But whatever, it's still something. Something's moving. Another gamer got something out of it. The store got something out of it. Awesome. That's good enough for me. And it looks like something I'm going to really enjoy playing as well, which is always icing on the top.
Right.
Were you wanting to unbox both of these games?
Go for it.
Okay. Hang on, let me get this one packed back up. This is cool too. You could tell it's definitely a product of, the 70s. I realized that it's copyright 1981, but this series and everything, It's very clearly designed to go on shelves that take records.
Oh yeah,
that's what they're called. They're called the album series. Right.
I had Foreign Legion and the one called 88. And I want to say there was one called Panzer something.
Probably. I've been looking, honestly, ever since I found this one, I've been kind of looking at them. I know that there's one that is there's an Apache Wars one, because that one is actually also at the same local gaming store. So I might actually wind up probably going back and picking those up. Oh, so that's what this is. So this is a Hyboria. That's Conan, right? Conan the Barbarian.
Okay.
I think it is. But anyway, so that's what this is. This is army lists for the Conan universe, the Conan setting with this game.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. So it's got standard army composition and what everything is. That's super cool, actually. Wow.
Casca's Raiders, was that a Yaquinto game?
Raiders as in like Confederate naval stuff?
Commerce Raiders in World War II.
Oh, that would be pretty slick. I wonder if you could play with kind of all the things from, U-boats through like playing the Cormorant. Right? So you could play, the Graf Spee, stuff like that, or you could play something as simple as a traditional, armed merchant ship.
I wouldn't mind having that Foreign Legion one because it had a fort in the desert and everything. I remember, and that was pretty cool.
That would be pretty slick. Well, unfortunately, what this means is there might be a new series that just accumulates at my house. I don't know I'm sure the rules aren't universal, because these rules, it wouldn't make sense to make another game with these rules, because these rules are designed to play everything.
Right.
But it seems like it's not just a series that they dump things into. It is the front art is kind of hilarious though. This like semi-Napoleonic guy, he's got a shako, but then he's got like a waistcoat and a jacket that makes him look like he's, a Three Musketeers guy. This guy over here who's got kind of American pants and an American Ike jacket, got some wild shoulder epaulets, a Kraut helmet. It's for everything, man. It's for every era. And then we got old boy in the center here looking like he's ready to take down Linda Lovelace.
Well, no, when he's done playing, he's probably going to the disco.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
All right, let's get this other one. I'm going to see this other one because I'm curious about this other thing.
This is one that apparently Todd is quite involved in, but Lankhmar. by TSR. So at
No,
first,
that can't be the same TSR that took up the SPI games like Gettysburg. Terrible Swift.
Probably is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're the original writers of Dungeons and Dragons too.
Oh, okay. All right.
But so this is at a friend of mine's game store. It's not quite as local. It's a little farther out. But he's like, hey, I know you like Hex and Counter stuff. I just got this from a guy. That wasn't the price I paid for it. Absolutely not. And so he like drops this down. I'm like, wait, an adult fantasy game? I'm not doing it. Sorry, not a thing. And then I saw, well, it says ages 12 and up, not 18 and up. So maybe it's just a cultural vernacular difference. But apparently this is a big game or a big like fantasy setting by Fritz Lieber and Harry Fisher. So I don't know. I don't know anything about that. He said it was a good game. I should give it a try. In reading about it, it seems like the sort of thing that John over Joy of Wargaming would really enjoy with his Mass Battles, like first edition Dungeons and Dragons Advanced D&D.
Okay.
But
this is Hex and Counter.
Yeah, allegedly.
All right, let's see it.
So,
come on, get after it.
Age level 12 years and up. Set up 10 minutes, played 2 to 4 hours. Okay, copyright 76, TSR Games, baby.
Oh my God, 76? Wait a minute, SPI was still, well, that's right. TSR was already alive. I forgot. Okay.
The game of swords and sorcery warfare on the fantastic world of Nehuan. Nowen. That's not like Erewhon that people tend to use, which is nowhere backwards. That's Nowen backwards. Yeah, so it's definitely Hex and Counter. All right. So we got a more decent sized rule book here. Oh man, there's some different stuff going. Mouser, Pfeffer, Movarl. Oh, there's boats, Jeff. Small boat, large boat.
Naval game.
So yeah, this is definitely a fantasy thing. So you've got these. Well, I guess these are different factions, which are Lankhmar, Kraknar, Mingles, King of Kings, Northern Mercenaries, and Quarmal. So again, I apologize, guys. There is no background put into this. This one I kind of wanted to just open up and have very genuine reactions with no idea what I'm looking at.
Is this going to even be up your alley?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to obviously give it a try because I won't know until I do. But it doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of like Great Medieval Battles, just in terms of there's different CRTs for what you're looking at.
Right.
Instead of adding up a combat strength or something, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So we do have different terrain, different combat, whether it's heroes or warriors, warriors versus heroes, and warriors versus warriors, or heroes versus heroes. Right. So that makes sense.
It's typical TSR. Sawyer said, I guess to me, knowing TSR was D&D, but outside of that, TSR to me is Terrible Swift Sword 2, A Gleam of Bayonets, the remake of Worthington's Victory. That's really my limits of TSR games. I didn't know about all this other stuff. Nord says he tried reading the books, but he said Lieber's writing style was too simplistic.
There you go. I know Todd likes the books. He when I mentioned this game, he had his book at hand. So it looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. Game of Lankhmar was originally conceived in 1937. It has been played since down to this time.
Wow.
It says it has withstood a rather severe test of time. Yeah, 39 years. That's wild.
Wow. Who in the hell bought this up in 1937?
Fritz Lieber, I guess. Or Harry Fisher. No, Fritz Lieber, it looks like. And then Harry Fisher contributed. So we've only got 8 pages of rules. So that's kind of cool rule book, but then there's like some background stuff in the back. You have tables at the back. That's pretty awesome. Other fantasy releases by TSR. So there you got Chainmail. Again, John has played that quite a bit over on Joy Wargaming. So that's their miniatures kind of thing. Oh, wow. So they had a Battle of Five Armies as well. So Lord of the Rings mass battles. That's kind of cool. Wow, this is wild. So you got Star Probe, Star Empire. So it's sci-fi from immediately before.
Right.
Immediately before Star Wars. Also, Dungeons and Dragons, Sword and Sorcery Wargaming with paper and pencil and miniatures. 3 booklets boxed. I'm going to take a picture of this and send it to John because he will lose his mind. He's always talking about how Dungeons and Dragons is wargaming, just abstracted down to individuals.
And is that the price beside it? What was the price beside that?
So for the entirety of Dungeons and Dragons was $10.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Lankhmar was $10.
Jeff, what was the game Gary Gygax did for Avalon Hill? I know I've heard it before, but I can't remember it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I've got a few of his rule sets, but look at that. A big die.
Avalon,
That's significantly larger than my little Avalon Hill dice. TSR goes hard, man. Goes hard in the dice. So here's our map. These are tiny hexes. Look at these things, man.
Is that a fold? Oh, okay. It's a fold.
Oh, it's a big one, too.
It's like a whole world, isn't it?
Yeah. So hang on. We'll come back to this in just a minute here. That's like a weird texture, too. We'll see what that is. I want to figure out what all else is in this box. These are like...
Did Battle Over Britain, did TSR pick that up and finish it?
Oh, man. So it comes with cards, but they're regular paper that's perforated that you have to punch out yourself. Look at that.
Old
school. So that one says rewards. This one says, well, you can read that. GEAS. 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 This is Geas, guys. We're playing Steampunk in Boston with that Geas. So, yeah, let's figure out what that is. Oh, this is unpunched.
Oh, put it back in the box.
I'm about to say, nobody tell Hissy Cat. I'm going to punch the shit out of this game and play it. So, yeah, it looks like we got factions up here. The different style of dude on the different colors. Leaders. And then random weapons. These, I think they were saying, are mercenaries. All of our boats. We got some small boats. This says Shield Ba's boat. I don't know who the hell Shield Ba is, but I'll have to figure it out. Got big boats. Sinking land, submerged, and raised. I would assume these are cavalry markers for camel and horse cavalry. And then we have weapons.
Oh, wow.
Whole ton of swords, bows, arrows, axes, spears, arrows. So yeah, this certainly seems like an RPG style of game that's abstract, or that's just put in with miniatures or with hex encounters.
Right.
So,
Dev, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
We'll have to see how that. Oh, those punch out real easily though. That's a nice difference. These are also corner tabbed, which is nice. You don't get that too frequently in these older games. So that's kind of cool, man.
TSR, because all of the TSR games I got, they're all of them were side nib. Because I remember having to take my razor and notch the side nibs off.
These are all corner. That's pretty slick. So let's put this back in the box real quick. Is there anything in the back? No, there's nothing on the back of that box. It's too old for that. It predates putting stuff on the back of boxes. Let's open this map up. Lankhmar, place of the Mingles. I have the city of ghouls, the sea of monsters, mountains of the elder ones, desert, somebody's cave. We'll see that in a minute here when we unfold everything. Citadel of the King of Kings. River. This has got really cool illustrations on it. Like none of it's CGI art. It's all hand drawn and shaded.
That's a semi-gloss too, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Looks satiny from here.
I think that's just because of how the light's going on it. It's like roller printed though. I don't know. It's got a texture to it. It's odd. Also, it's on super nice. Oh, that's what it is. It's on a super nice, like heavy duty, waxy kind of paper.
Right.
That's probably why it looks like that. But all right, let's get this thing folded out. Yeah, it's on a weird paper. That feels super cool. like it's water resistant or something, like old maps that were water resistant. We've got Northern Mercenaries, Klelgnar, Sarhinmar, Ningabul's Cave, Ilthmar, Shieldbuzz Hut. Oh, there's probably where Shieldbuzz boat starts. Warcat's Cave.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is 100%, you're correct, a whole world, man. Right there, I guess that's Lankhmar.
I'm going to bet Charles is right now browsing the internet trying to find a copy of this game.
The dike. He's probably just going back and looking on his shelves.
This reminds me of one of the early Ultima games, the computer games, the way the map looks.
That's fair. It reminds me of Blitzkrieg, because it seems like it's a really low fantasy, like not a lot of magic and whatnot, maybe a little bit, but yeah, but it's obviously set in a fictional world, but it's got real close ties. Like if I had to bet, the Mingles that live up on these steps up here probably ride a bunch of horses. Stuff like that.
Modified version of Mongols.
Yeah, I bet you these Northern Mercenaries ride around in longboats and have shield walls. But yes, that's pretty cool, to be honest with you.
Nice big old typical. Well, you can tell the use of the colors that there's the stamp of TSR to me right there is the colors, the off the wall colors.
It looks really cool though. It's funny because you can tell, especially on the deserts, you can see where whatever their copying methodology was,
right?
They just pasted down a piece of that same yellow with the word desert on it.
Right over top of the
yeah. Because it covers the line and the texturing they have on there. But that's a pretty sweet map, I'm not going to lie to you. Lankhmar, the place of the Mingles. On co-figure, again, the steps. So it just screams 1970s. But
oh, yeah, no doubt.
But this is pretty cool, and I'm actually really looking forward to playing this now as well. Boom.
What else do you still have left in your inventory that you've bought that you have not tabled yet?
Lankhmar. Well, there's some things that unfortunately it's going to be really hard to play without another person. Right. Midway, like half of the gameplay is a battleship sort of thing.
Right.
Where you don't know where your opponent is. Like that's the whole point of Midway, is to discover your opponent before they discover you, so you can launch an airstrike before they do.
Okay.
So Midway is one that I haven't done. Jutland. Again,
you have not played Jutland?
I need a gym floor, dog.
That's right. Okay. I remember.
Like the minimal, you can play it on an 8x4 table, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get Todd to play Jutland, and we're going to have to play it on the table in the garage, and hopefully that'll have games with Todd in them. I have not played Legends of Robin Hood. Again, that looks like a really fun game, but in looking at the rules, it looks like it's one of those things that you are probably going to need a second person for.
Right.
Let's see here. That Caesar's Legions.
Def says you need a tennis court to play Jutland at scale.
Oh yeah, no. Every picture. I think there's even one in the rule book where they're talking about playing on a basketball court. Right. Absolutely, that's what it was designed for.
Right. So Chuck, you've got the Drive on Stalingrad. I played the SPI version. I have Barbarossa up here. Vince, you're going to play that one too. And I think I have Moscow 1941, the TSR version of that. So that's cool.
And then Sovereign of the Seas is sitting right here. I need to get this whole table cleaned off. It's at the 2-mapper. And then Sovereign of the Seas, again, that's an Age of Sail game based off of that Ward Sea engine, which is going to be awesome.
Right.
Victory in the Pacific. Again, so I got that influx of like 8 games or something, or 12 games for next to nothing. And so it's mainly things out of that collection. Because I still have Trireme. And then what's the old Avalon Hill game where it's a plastic board with the pieces, like Frigate or something, or Fortress?
Gods.
What is it? It's sitting right here. See, the thing is if it's a game that I haven't played that I'm really excited to play, I keep it on the table here, so I'm looking at them.
Right.
And that gets me to play them because I'm not having to like look over at a shelf or a wall and forget about it and then come back to it. That one is Feudal.
Wait a minute, Chuck. Chuck says, "You guys think I don't already have a copy? Are you telling me that you have a copy of Lankhmar?"
That's what I said. He just had to go find it on his shelves.
Old Chucky, him, and old Doug Gearhart. Y'all are, I don't know how you all do it, but y'all find some of those really, really strange games out there. So, well, hey, good stuff tonight, guys. We did a little bit over an hour. I'm gonna kill this thing. It was just an unboxing. Check out the Tunisia 2 video I shot this evening, and also I'm gonna say it again. I've got it, Nord. I've got it sitting over there, big old 3-inch box, and it's GBOH. I haven't started yet, but I will. Thursday night, guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 Central, whatever. We're gonna have kind of like a debate over optional rules and variants in games. When to use them, why use them, why don't use them, whatever. And Big Board's going to join us, and we're just going to go have a sort of a roundhouse session talking about that stuff. And it may not just be Hex and Counter or board games. Maybe McMurray or Todd will throw in some miniature stuff in there that has optional rules. But we're gonna, because I've had a few cases here recently where I've played some games that had some, and I've been asked, well, are you using that rule, or why are you not using that rule? And we're going to have a discussion about it. It should be interesting. I just asked Kev last night if he'd join us, and he said, yeah, he said he thought it would be fun. So we're going to have him on. He'll be in Austin somewhere, but he's going to join us over his laptop. And we're just going to go at it for maybe an hour and a half. So, but with that, I'm going to close this thing out. Y'all, if y'all want some of these things at a good price, get over to Miniature Market. This isn't the only one. If you're one of these warfighter people, they've got every warfighter thing I think there is on sale over there. So, not to mention, Miniature Market sells a little bit of everything. So, get over and take a look at it. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I think we're going to kill this right now, and we'll see you all in another couple days.
See you guys.
See you.